Making money as an artist is hard, not because of the artists themselves, but because of how intellectual property and capitalism interact. You get resources in capitalism from gatekeeping. Placing a comp in front of a physical resource like food can get you rich. Intellectual property is more complicated to police. This is because all art is based on prior art. The tools we use are iteratively built based on how other artists used them. Our ideas of what art is comes from prior art, and artists constantly learn techniques from other artists. It is often taken away and/or transformed immediately, like with right-clicking NFTs or making memes. Showing somebody an image online is literally telling their PC to download it. This leads people to instead gatekeep the interpretation of things for artistic intellectual property. By this I mean the canon and the correct way to experience it. The wiki may contain all the information of Dragon Ball, but it is only considered true if it cites the manga or show. Fan projects almost always branch off of the main show, not each other. This means people have to watch the original show for context. The value of this is a feedback loop. If you make money off the interpretation of something, you can use it to boost your voice and suppress others. This makes your interpretation more essential and more used, meaning you can charge more for access and relations to it. What your intellectual property contains depends on what you can enforce. Doing legal action often requires you to prove something has direct connections to your property and competes with it. Finding and proving these connections can take a lot of resources. The complicating aspect of this is that you can't separate this learning from others' art and consuming it, which means you can't actually disentangle ownership. If I watch a TV show, I see some of how shows are made, and the impacts of their artistic decisions, and it becomes a part of how I make art in the future. A direct connection. When you post art, you post it for both uses, as people have no choice but to use it for both. Look at Pal World and how people just see it as Pokemon with guns. We can often recognize the old in the new. There is no way they could have made something like that without Pokemon influencing them. AI is trained by using the same information, art itself. It builds its models of art and the words we use to describe it with what it experiences. And even if that experience is different from how people do so, that type of relation is foundational to art. The type of interaction it has is no different from me going over pixel art on Twitter to find different resolutions people use for the canvas and using that. Except that people see AI interaction as more systematically provable and so more easily subject to enforcement. The issue here is intellectual property itself. It cannot be self-consistent, and property owners must maintain profits or risk being pushed out. This relation is harmful in many ways. First, full control over how people perceive and access your art hurts disabled people. Nintendo is known for curating the entire experience, down to locking what buttons do what. Not everyone has the same fingers or hands or brain. This is exclusion. It also involves the erasure of history. Tight control of media leads to little redundancy, as it's expensive, so many old TV episodes are lost forever. It also leads to blocking access to older media, so newer releases generate more profit. None of this helps artists. Art is what creates the inspiration and need for more art. I am more excited for the second episode after a good first. If we want more jobs for artists, we need more art, not less. The choice is between less artists starving, or actively building systems of ableism, having less art overall, and blocking access to that art, just so some of those with jobs already can maintain them. Most people will pick the ableism. The basis of the justification for capitalism is the hatred of disabled people, not the other way around after all. Art is not inherently more valuable when it's harder to make. What people are valuing is who can make that art. Saying the abled and the rich's interpretation should be the basis for society. On top of this, capitalism holds disabled people hostage. We have no control over how the resources we need are made. Even if it's good in a vacuum, the AI may use private data, for example, but attacking the tools won't fix the relations we are stuck in. There is no ethical consumption under capitalism. Creating ableist structures only strengthens capitalism, the system built on them. That is the thing making people starve in the first place. We must do mutual aid to undermine it. Their power is based on gatekeeping, and we only stop that by making everything we can as accessible as possible. Check out my other videos on the topic and my Discord, where we discuss things like mutual aid, property as a concept, and AI art. We use image descriptions and such. We actually care about accessibility.